My sister, Pamela Jane Holopainen, has been missing for over 21 years from Timmins, Ontario, Canada. And I share about my sister's truths in order to not just try to find my sister and bring her home, but to create awareness and try to make change for future sisters. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about when my sister went missing and how that came about. So 2 years before my sister went missing, she was beaten up by her spouse. He put her in the hospital. He took the baby hostage, and it took many police officers to get the baby back and put him in jail. But my sister, she would days later go to the court and beg that they release him upon conditions that they would do therapy together. Well, that didn't happen. He was released, but no therapy happened. So about a month before my sister went missing, she had a black eye, and my mom reported it to the police, and the police went there, and again, she defended him and said she walked into a hydro pole, and the police left, and nothing came of it. About a week before my sister went missing, she asked me for, a lawyer, a family lawyer, because she was worried that when she did leave him, that he would get the kids, and she didn't want that. So she asked me to find her a lawyer. So the night my sister went missing, and before I talk about that night my sister went missing, I want to explain to you that women are most endangered when they're actually planning to leave. And I'm saying that because you could see as things progressed and got worse, that he was also getting worse. And people could sit here and judge and say, well, how come you didn't do anything? Well, we tried. We discluded him from our family events for 2 years. And what we found is that we just pushed my sister away even further. So my sister went missing on the night of December 14th, 2003, sorry. Yes, my sister went missing December 14th, 2003, and she was at a house party in Timmins, and she was seen leaving because she was arguing with her spouse about him accusing her of flirting with a married man. Now, my sister was mad and she left. This is what witnesses say. And he followed her. He says that he woke up and she was just gone. But the issue is that he never reported my sister missing. He didn't tell us that she was missing. We had no idea that she was missing. And I know it's easy to judge, well, how do you not know your sister's missing? This is before Facebook even existed. In 2003, my sister didn't even have a cell phone then. But we did communicate regularly on our landlines, 4 times a day. I left messages on my sister's voicemail. I filled up that voicemail. I went there on December 15th, 16th, 17th. I wanted to drop off some Christmas presents, and nobody was there. There was no footprints. There was no tire tracks in the driveway. The plants were in the window. The stroller was there. Everything seemed, normal. So I just assumed that he had a sister that lived in Sudbury, Ontario. So I assumed that they went to Sudbury, Ontario. Christmas came and my sister didn't call me. And I'll never forget that day how upset I was. I called her some pretty nasty names because I couldn't believe that she wouldn't let me speak or call us on Christmas. I wanted to speak to my nephews. I wanted to wish them a Merry Christmas. Usually we were together, so I was really caught off guard. But I was also very naive and I didn't think anything. So until Boxing Day, the next day, and then I reflected and I thought, my sister wouldn't do something like this. This isn't like her, and I got concerned. So I called the landlord, and the landlord said, he hasn't seen any of them. Not her, not him, not the kids. It's been quiet. So I got turned back into anger again. And I was mad that, my sister just didn't care. That's what I thought, honestly. It wasn't until New Year's Eve we seen my sister's my sister's spouse's sister, the one who was babysitting. He has multiple sisters, so the one that was babysitting who lived in Timmins, we seen her at the bingo hall. She came up to us and said, "Did you hear about Pam?" And we said, "No, what about Pam?" She said, "She left my brother." And right away my mom said, "Well, where's the kids?" And she said, "With him." Me and my mom knew right there and then that something was not right. And we left the bingo hall immediately to report my sister missing. He never reported her missing. He never told anyone that she was missing. And this was the first big red flag. But as a fool, I tried to believe him the first few months. I think it's more because I was trying to get answers out of him or continue the relationship with my nephews. But it became very difficult because he was showing a different side, trying to be nice, but at the same time, he wouldn't put up a poster. He wouldn't go on the news. He did nothing to try to find my sister. Who does that when you're with somebody? Somebody very guilty. Now, people always ask, why isn't he in jail? I think it's because there's no remains. I also think it's because the police acted way too late. And that's another whole story that I'll share with you sometime. But thank you. I appreciate you listening to me. And I tell you these stories because it's my sister's truth, for one, but I also want you to share this. I want you to speak about it because there's not enough action for all women to be safe. So the more that we talk about domestic violence and, the warning signs and things like that, then the more we could actually put things in place to protect these women and children. No more stolen sisters.